Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to continue on with the sealed bids method that we started yesterday. So nothing really new to introduce here, just we need to see more examples and get used to the process of the sealed bids method because it is very involved. It has a lot of steps, so there's a lot of places where you can mess up. All right, so you've got to make sure you take your time, stay organized, and go through the process step by step. All right, so in our example today, what we have are four small graphic design companies that are merging. Okay, so they're going to become one larger corporation, but in this merger, there's a number of issues that need to be settled, such as what is the new company name going to be, where is the location for the headquarters going to be, who's going to be the CEO, who's going to be the chair of the board, right? So these are issues that the company wants to resolve, and they're going to use the sealed bids method to resolve it. So what they did was they asked each company to place a monetary value on each issue, right? So for instance, Super Designs placed $5,000 on the company name, right? So they're going to pay money to be able to determine the company name. All right. So same thing, like if you really wanted to be the CEO, then you would bid high on CEO. If you really wanted to make sure that the location was somewhere convenient, you would bid high on the location. Okay. And so we have all of the bids by the companies here. So that's always step one, is just have them all bid. And remember, these are sealed, so the layout pros cannot see the bids that Super Designs submitted. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start this off. First thing we got to do is we need to total up all of the bids in cash. And you notice that I have cash in there. We haven't seen an example that has free floating cash as part of what needs to be divided up yet. We're going to see that later on because cash can kind of complicate things, all right? So for right now, we're just taking the bids on the items and we're going to total those up and see what we get here. All right, so I've totaled those up, and like I said, all I did was I went through, added these in my calculator, and got my number down here. So Super Designs bid a total of $30,000, and then I can use that to determine a fair share because I can take 30,000 and divide by 4 since there's 4 parties in this division. So a fair share for Super Designs would be $7,500, and I would do the same thing for each subsequent company here. All right, so I've got all the fair shares calculated here. Remember, this is probably the most important number that you calculate in this process because this is the number that tells you whether or not these companies are going to walk away happy at the end of your process. So whatever we give to them, they have to value it at $7,500 or more at the end of the day. All right. If they don't, they won't be happy, and you probably did something wrong with your division. The sealed bids method is guaranteed to make sure that everyone walks away with at least their fair share or more. All right, so if you get something below the fair share, that's a sign that you made a mistake at the end. All right, so now let's go through and determine who gets what items here. So we'll start with the company name, and the highest bid was by Graphics with 6,000, so they're going to get the name. And then we go to location. The highest bid was 9,000, so location goes to Designs by Me. And then we go to CEO, and the highest bid was here by Super Design, so they will get CEO. And then chair of the board is going to go to Graphics. They get name and chair. All right, and Layout Pros gets nothing. Okay, they're not going to get any of the items. And that's okay. We're going to take care of them with cash. All right, we'll take care of them with cash later on. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go through and figure out the holding pile. All right, so the holding pile gets created by the differences in the values of the items received and the fair share. So, for example, the CEO, according to Super Designs, was worth $10,000, which is more than the fair share that they are supposed to receive. So the difference, 10,000 and 7,500, the difference between those two is 2,500. So they are going to pay 2,500 into the holding pile. Okay, then we do the same thing. We move over here and we look at, okay, well, Designs by Me got the location and that was worth $9,000 to them, which is way more than their fair share. So they're going to pay into the holding pile. If you got something that's worth more than your fair share, then you're going to pay into the holding pile. So the difference between 9,000 and 5,750 is 3,250. So they are going to pay $3,250 into the holding pile. Now our next company here, Layout Pros, they didn't get anything, right? So the value of their items received is 0, which is way less than their fair share. So they're not going to pay into the holding pile, they're going to get from the holding pile. In fact, they're going to get $5,500 because the difference between 5,500 and 0 is 5,500. So they'll receive $5,500 from the holding pile. Then we go over here, we've got graphics. They got the name and the chair, and the name was worth $6,000, the chair was worth $8,000, so they have a grand total of $14,000 worth of stuff, which is way more than their fair share. So they're going to pay the difference between those two numbers there, which is $6,750. Oh, wait, sorry. Typo. They're going to pay $7,250. All right, so they're going to pay that much into the holding pile. All right, so now I got a total up of what is left in the holding pile. So they pay $2,500. So I'm going to say $2,500 plus $3,250 plus the $7,250. So those are the three that paid in. And then since he's taking money out, we're going to subtract $5,500. So what is left in the holding pile is $7,500. Okay, so these three paid in, he took out, this is what's left over, $7,500. And that $7,500 has to be split amongst the 4 parties. Okay, so that share, I can calculate that by taking 7,500 and dividing by 4, which means each person or each company is going to receive $1,875 back, right? So this is what was left over. We have to divide that equally amongst our 4 parties, so each of them are going to receive an additional $1,875. Okay, so now we get to the final settlement. We've got to describe what everybody got. Okay, so for Super Designs, they got CEO, and then they paid, and I'm not going to do a comma there, so they paid some money into the holding pile, which was $2,500, so we're going to say minus $2,500, and then they received $1,875 back. All right, so this is really a summary of what happened. They got the CEO, they paid $2,500, and then got $1,875 back. Now remember, the CEO was worth $10,000, right? So we would have 10,000 minus 2,500 plus 1,875, and my total value, I'll just get the total values along the bottom here. My total value for this is $9,375. Okay, so if I compare that to their fair share, which we have right up here, $9,375 is more than the $7,500, so Super Designs is going to walk away happy with that settlement. All right, now we do the same thing for Designs by Me. Right, so Designs by Me got location. So they got location, and then they paid $3,250, and then they got $1,875, right, from the leftover money. Okay, so the location was worth $9,000. So minus $3,250 plus the $1,875. And so if I add and subtract all of those, we're going to get a total value of $7,625 for their final settlement. I compare that to their fair share, which was $5,750, so they are going to walk away happy. All right, next up is Layout Pros, and remember they got no items. So no items, but they got $5,500 from the holding pile. And then they also got an additional $1,875. Okay, so really this is 0 plus 5,500 plus 1,875. And if I add those all together, they get a total value of $7,375. So you just get that straight up in cash. All right, they don't get any items, but they're going to get a lot of money. All right, and that the value of that money is more than their fair share, so they should be happy. All right, last one here, graphics. They got the name and the chair. So they got name plus chair minus, they paid $7,250. So I'm going to say minus $7,250 and plus $1,875 for their share of the remaining cash. All right, so that's going to be $6,000 plus $8,000. Those are the values of the name and the chair, minus $7,250 plus $1,875, which means their total value is going to be $8,625. And that is more than their fair share, so they will walk away happy. Okay. All right, guys. Hopefully you found that helpful. Let me know if you have questions in the Zoom chat. Have a great day.